What's up everybody? Oh no, I'm not Peter McKinnon, but this one is gonna be a fun one today. One of my favorite topics, and for this, first I will need a coffee. Whoa, almost spilled the coffee. Oh, nice. Cinematic lighting, perfect. You always wanted to have a slightly cinematic look in your videos or in your B-rolls. You should stay because I'm giving away 5 tips for you guys how to make your videos more cinematic. What does cinematic actually mean? Well, it's hard to explain, but I think we all recognize a cinematic video when we see one. In the end, it's basically just something that reminds you of a cinematic video. Well, there are a few aspects or characteristics that make a video more cinematic than others, and we will have a look at this right now. First things first, I would really appreciate if you guys would leave a subscription for my channel because it's free. Before we jump right into 5 easy steps on how to make your videos look more cinematic. First of all, the video aspect ratio. I think this is the most obvious thing, that cinematic videos have a wide aspect ratio. Like, well, the anamorphic 2.35:1 format, which will fill the whole screen and make those cinebars appear. Also called letterbox because it refers to the narrow opening of a letterbox, obviously. So since most cameras and your camera, your mobile phone will record in 16:9, you have to create those cinebars in post-production. The easiest way is to grab the crop tool and to crop your video at the bottom and the top for about 10%. Or you will have to change your export settings before you export and your sequence settings so you can align your clips perfectly to the format you want to have. Second step. This will not be as obvious as the first one, and you will not necessarily, well, that was hard, necessarily recognize it, but most movies are in 24 frames per second or 25 frames per second. You will notice when you have videos going above 50 frames per second because the motion will be more, yeah, it's kind of smoother and kind of not as natural as 24 frames or 25 frames. It's because we are used to it from all the movies we have seen. If you want slow motion in your video, this will be not a problem. Just shoot at higher frame rates and export them with the frame rate you want to have. So if you want to export your video in 24 frames per second, you will be shooting a slow motion at least 48 frames per second. Or as I'm doing it, I'm exporting in 25 frames per second, and I will be shooting my slow motion in 50 frames per second. There's a way that you can add slow motion to it. Don't worry. Third step, cinematic music. What is cinematic music? Everything and nothing can be cinematic, as we have seen in all those movies like Transformers using Linkin Park or Dark Knight using Hans Zimmer. It always depends on what atmosphere you want to create in your video. But music will be one of the most important parts in your cinematic videos. This can nail or fail your video. What's important about the music is that it does not distract from the picture, but helps to create the wanted atmosphere. And one small extra tip, sound design. This will make your videos come alive. As long as we can't smell and taste YouTube videos, this is the closest we can get to it, and the viewer will be feeling more involved into your video. So always add sound design. Number 4, color grading. This will also add to your atmosphere and feeling of the shots. I know this might be the most exhausting part of video editing because you want all your clips to have a similar look. This is why you should always record in a flat color profile, because you will get a more dynamic range, you will get more information of your highlights and your shadow. Even better would be S-Log, C-Log, or something like RAW. This will make color grading much easier if you're using different types of cameras like the A7S III and the GoPro. All right, the next step, step 5, cinematic movement. There are a lot of camera movements that you can make, a lot of shots that you can make. They can help different scenes to stand out, to add some atmosphere, or help to create some variety in your video. I know most of us don't have a slider, a dolly cam, or a glide cam, but a gimbal or a drone can be very helpful to create similar effects. Well, you can trick a little bit in post-production, like a dolly cam zooming in and all those things. There are a few things that you can do in post. Well, this is the part where you can get creative to get those shots you want to have, to get a certain look, a certain atmosphere, a certain feeling, just to get this one shot you strive for with the equipment that you have at home. I really love to take one-take shots like this one because they add a little style and they are just awesome to work with, and those can be a huge advantage. Well, I know I did not mention stabilization. The thing is, I've seen some movies lately which were mostly shot handheld, because this also adds some atmosphere and some variety in your video. Handheld footage is always useful when you have action scenes or dramatic scenes, just to punch this a little bit more out, to make it more obvious that there's something strong. I think those smooth, stabilized shots are great when you have a calm, beautiful, relaxing, chilling, majestic atmosphere. One other thing I didn't mention is bokeh. Well, I know most of you like this blurry background and it gives you more of a cinematic feeling. I didn't do anything. Well, in movies, except from close-up shots, you will not see as much of a bokeh as you would love to see, because they also want to introduce the environment and the scene. That's why I think this is not that much of an important aspect to make your videos more cinematic. Yeah, I know it can really look awesome if you have close-ups, but that's it. Now, get out, shoot your own cinematic video with the gear you have, because all those things work with your smartphone as well. You only will be needing editing software. And if you want to know how to work with that editing software, you should leave a subscription. You should subscribe to my channel, because I'm dropping more and more about, that was kind of strange, more about editing Premiere Pro and how I edit my videos to get a certain look. Now get out and shoot. Come on. I will see you next week. Have a nice day.